Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Life Mastery TV. I'm Tommy Stoffel, and right now we're having some technical difficulties. We have David on the line. I'm not sure where he is right now, but I'm hoping he comes back online soon. Hang on a second. Yeah, come on in. Holy, get over here.
Hi, man.
What the hell are you doing here? Holy,
Good to see you. How are you doing? Good to see you.
good to see you too, man. How'd you do that?
Magic. It's the magic of technology.
It's the magic of
What can I
technology.
say?
Everybody, David McLeod in my house, in my peace pad for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Here in Thousand Oaks, California. Welcome, my friend.
Yeah, this is awesome. This is awesome. Yep. And how long has it been? We've been doing this for almost 2 years.
Yep.
Well, not quite. A year and
Since
half.
April Fool's Day of 2000.
Pretty much. We were fools that day. That's right. April Fool's Day, and then we started doing this, and it's been every week ever since. This is episode number 79.
Yeah. And sometimes
we
did it from Dublin, Ireland. Sometimes I was in a prison cell in Charlotte, and sometimes I was in Hawaii, and here we are for the first time together.
This is awesome. I'm really excited. And, we don't know what's going to happen today because we haven't really planned anything. We were getting together last night, and actually we got together, had some dinner, and we're sharing, like, do we want to plan something for this show, or do we want to just kind of wing it? And I said, Tommy, it's just so much fun to wing it, right? It's so much fun to just come in and just, be open and see what spirit brings to us.
Right up. And we always have things going on in our life too. And that's part of what we bring you is like, we'll check in with each other and say, what's going on in our lives these days? What are people looking for? What are we helping people with, coaching people with? What are we hearing a lot of? And that's usually how we come up with the idea for a show. And what did you say about your I am, your power of
well, as you people probably remember, I've talked about my Magic of I Am daily affirmation program, which I get these affirmations every day as well. And today, the one that landed on my email it just really hit me. It was perfectly timed. It says, I am grateful for a career that's perfectly in alignment with my spiritual purpose. And it just hit me. I thought, oh my God, it's coming. It's coming. Because as we were talking about last night, so many people share with us about how purpose is so important to them. And you and I have been going through this same challenge. And part of this program that we've been doing is to help us kind of move along our purpose and get aligned with that. And so I just felt that chill go up and down my spine when I read that this morning. And so I guess maybe that's a signal that we should talk a little bit about purpose.
I feel so. And again, that's one of these topics that keeps coming up with people I'm talking to, always with myself too, right? We're here, and a lot of us feel we have a purpose to help the planet some way, or a purpose to help other people in some way. I personally help people with peace of mind. That's my gig. That's what I help people with. And everyone has their kind of different ways of doing that. And eventually, and hopefully, and some people have already made this move and do it professionally and do it as their career. And there still are more of us that are looking to bring this into the space of making a living doing this.
Yeah, and one of the things that I've learned for myself, it's really hard for me, or I think for anybody, to know what their purpose is until they know who they are, until I know who I am. And so a big part of the work that you and I both do, and that I certainly do in my coaching, is I help people strip away all the false ideas of who they think they are, so that they can get down to the true essence. And once I've gotten down to the true essence, and I'm still working on that, I still have to kind of challenge myself sometimes. Once I get down to the true essence of who I am, then it's easier for me to connect in with my real purpose. And I think that's true for all of us. Have you found that yourself?
Absolutely true. And the core kind of understanding or belief here is that you came here with that purpose. It's inside of you. It's somehow programmed in there, and in some sort of form of energy. And maybe it's already come to light. Maybe it still comes to light. Maybe you get glimpses of it once in a while. So I think what would be fun to do today is to talk a little bit about that process of how to, again, uncover that. And I think, like you said, David, it's removing stuff, right? It's already in there. Our essence is in there. Our spiritual essence is in there. Our enlightened being is inside of here. And we continually go through the process of clearing away the muck. And the more we do that, the clearer comes the truth of who we are and what we're here to do.
Right. As you were describing that, it reminds me of the story of Michelangelo as he's doing the statue of David, I think it was, where someone said, well, how do you come up with this? And he says, I just take a block of marble and I chip away everything that isn't David.
He's already in there.
He's already in
He's
there.
already in there.
And that's kind of what we do when we look at our stories about who we think we are and about the the roles we play and the different even the diseases that we have and so forth, and we say I am this or I am that. That's really not who we are at all. Those are just temporary states of being, I think, maybe that we've come into, and we're kind of transitioning in and out of those things, but they're just temporary, and they're not something that we should be hanging on to. And we've talked a lot about this, between ourselves, but also in sharing with the people in this program. And I think that's a powerful learning, and I think it's good for us to keep bringing that up.
It is. It's something that needs to be repeated too, because so much of life is about who we are. We're a dad, or we're a mom, or we're an employee, or we're a sister, or we're a worker, whatever it is, right? That's what the world shows us all the time. That's what we see when we look in the mirror. That's when we see when we hear people talking to us. So what do you do for a living? Oh, how much do you make? Oh, blah, blah, blah. What kind of car do you drive? What kind of house do you live in? All that stuff is not truly who we are. It's almost like every freaking day on this planet is Halloween. and we're always wearing costumes or masks of some sort.
That's right.
But it's not as easy as waking up in the morning saying, I'm taking off all my costumes, because then you get this whole thing of fear. But we need to peel them off layer by layer and bit by bit.
Yeah, and actually, the costume analogy is really a good one, because I think, well, we all do it. We put on a facade in order to show up a certain way for certain people, depending on where we are. Mm-hmm. We might be more willing to show more of ourselves in certain circumstances than we are in other circumstances. Mm-hmm. How many people go to work and say, I'm going to be a totally authentic being? How many people have jobs where it's safe to do that? Mm-hmm. I mean, can you imagine going into a McDonald's and having employees talk to you from a place of real authenticity? I think it would be scary for them to do it. I think it would be awesome to have, but I think it would be a challenge.
Yeah, absolutely a challenge, and scary, and not something. Now, that whole concept of being able to be authentic at work is something that's also in the works. And I don't know if you guys have heard of something called Wisdom 2.0, but there's a movement afoot that's been afoot for like 5 years or so. And it started with the high-tech companies in the Silicon Valley, and they're actually bringing wisdom, as I could say, bringing wisdom to work, but bringing mindfulness and emotional intelligence practices into the office place. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of, working my purpose into my career. I'm still employed. I'm still an employee mm-hmm. at, in a box job, a 8 to 5er. But I do actually bring some of that into I bring some of my purpose into my career, and that I have started actually, myself and a friend of mine, Marjan, we co-created a mindful emotional intelligence program that we now share with our fellow employees. So there's an aspect of this too, that you can kind of live in both worlds, right? Have a foot mm-hmm. in both as you make the transition.
Yeah, and certainly it is true that there is a movement towards that, but I think we still have a long, long way to go. And so I think what happens is many people end up in jobs that feel very unfulfilling, because they don't believe they have the freedom to be fully authentic, to be fully living their purpose within that space. And so I think the challenge for all of us is to find a way to connect to our purpose and to somehow bring that into whatever we do. It doesn't matter, even if I am just working at McDonald's, flipping hamburgers, I can still do it with intention. I can still bring all my love to that job and just be totally happy with it if I choose. And if it's really not fulfilling me, then I can always look for something else. So, it's kind of a little bit of give and take. Sometimes we have to accept what is right now. And in fact, I think that's something that we also teach, is accepting what is before you can actually do anything about it.
Yeah, if you're all caught up in the frustration of where you are, if you're all caught up in anger or bitterness, or how come this isn't working? How come I can't get out of this? How come all that? Or if we're dragging the path along with us, right? Always like mulling over the decisions I made or how things haven't gone well. There's a time for that, but that's the time for releasing. And we need to get to this place where we're more present in whatever we do. And you'll find your purpose comes forward when you're more present in whatever you do. And even if it is a minimum wage job, that's great. I mean, some of us don't even have jobs. So to have whatever you do and wherever you go, to bring your presence and your awareness, that's your purpose. That really is your purpose. And I think the more we can do that, then the sooner if your purpose is meant to become your career, then the sooner that'll evolve too. Because we need to practice what we preach, right?
Yeah.
We need to walk the walk, no matter where we are.
Yeah. But as I was saying to you last night at dinner, I said, but I'm not ready. We were talking about that whole problem of constantly getting ready instead of being ready.
Yeah.
You know, this whole idea, the presence thing is like the most critical thing that we can teach anybody. Being right here, right now.
Yeah, and everybody teaches it, but yes.
That's right. And when I'm busy thinking about, worrying about things that happened in the past, and then projecting them into the future and making them, my reality, that's what holds me back.
Mm-hmm.
That's what holds all of us back, I think. If we can let go of that, if we can just say, okay, that happened then, great, and I learned from it, and now I'm here. It might happen again, it might not. I don't know. It's just a fear that I'm creating in my mind. So I'm going to let go of that. And now I'm going to just try moving myself forward by being where I am right now. This is kind of, I think, the challenge that we all face, and certainly something that I have to work on in order to keep myself sane.
I think that you say it's a challenge. It is a challenge. I think it's the ultimate opportunity in life is to be as present as you can be in every moment. Now, our ego mind thrives on drama. It thrives on keeping it safe. It thrives on things that it's been taught to do. And where all that resides in your personal time-space continuum is in the past or in your future. Mm-hmm. Your ego's going to love to drag you into the past, and it's like I equate those events as anchors that kind of, you said, keep you stuck in the mind. Right. They keep you anchored in the past, or they put you into fear of the future. And to say let go is one thing, but to actually do it and affect that change is a practice. It's an ongoing practice to do that, and to be in the moment. Again, we can talk about this like we always do. To be in the moment takes practice. It takes effort. It takes and meditating, the getting your mind under control, because an out of control mind drags into the past and into the future. So the phone agrees.
Yeah,
it's giving us the ring through.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I've had the same experience myself. It is a work. It's a work in progress. I'm not complete. I have plenty of things left to do, and it's a journey. It's a journey, and I think maybe the journey is where I should be focusing my attention rather than on some imaginary destination. I don't know what the destination would be anyway. I think a great destination is to pause now and then and just say, oh, here I am. Here I am. Here I am. Here I am now. And that whole here now thing is all about being present. And now I can just, from that place of here now, I can just appreciate all that is. And say, okay, great. Now tomorrow, I'm going to have a whole new experience. I have no idea what's going to show up, but at the end of that experience, I'll be able to sit down and do the here now thing again. That's really the joy of living. And if we don't go to that place of here now, we deprive ourselves of some wonderful, wonderful experiences.
Absolutely true. If you're always thinking about, again, and there's no blame or fault here, right? We're born into a society that has been stuck out of the present moment. It's been stuck in the past and the future for as long as it's probably existed. So we're talking about something new here. We're talking about something revolutionary. We're talking about the evolution of human consciousness, and that is to stop being stuck in these patterns of the past and these fears of the future, and to be as present as we can. And bring that back to our purpose, again, is the more you practice that, the more you're going to be able to hear your purpose, the more you're going to be able to recognize your purpose, the more you're going to be able to, get through the chaff and the muck and the noise and get in touch with what's already inside of you.
Yeah.
Your true essence.
And the noise itself is not something to necessarily ignore. When I try to fight the noise, when I try to, tell the noise to go away, that's usually when it gets louder for me. That's usually when it says, oh, to hell with you. I'm in charge, but the noise is in charge. That's my ego mind trying to hold me back. What I need to do is pause and say, okay, what is that noise really all about? What's that noise saying to me? It's got that thought over there. Well, thank you for that thought. And now if I really want to get it out of my head, as I've said before, and as Tommy has said, write it down, have it on a journal. Great, that's a thought that's been bothering me. So put it down, get it out of your head. If it's really important, then you can come back to it and deal with it. If it's not important, you can just throw it away. And so eventually the noise, by doing that, by the way, I found that works wonders for me. The noise does tend to go away, but it doesn't go away when I fight it. It goes away when I listen to it and just go into it and feel it.
And there's a lot of great stuff in what you said there in the pause. I'll come back to the pause in a minute, but the fighting it, right? What are we doing when we're fighting? We're taking an energy of resistance. So we're resisting the future. There's fear, anxiety, or worry about the future. That's resistance. And we're fighting it with resistance. So it's almost like there's a fire burning over here. I need to put it out. Let's find some gasoline.
Or more fire.
Or more fire.
Yeah,
we're adding fuel to the fire. So resisting that already resistant energy is counterproductive. And that's
Absolutely.
what you're saying doesn't work.
Yeah.
Now, to meet it with what you say is a pause, is you're meeting it with no resistance, you're meeting it with acceptance. You're like, okay, this is what it is. I have this fear going on in my head. I got too much stuff going on in my head. My brain is scattered. I'm all over the place. And the egoic tendency is going to be, I got to do more. I got to put more on my to-do list. I got to get more done. I got to get up earlier. I got to stay up later. I got to cancel my friendships. I got to just get this stuff done. That's what we're trained to do in this human race. And the counterintuitive thing, which is the right thing to do, is exactly what you said.
Yeah.
We got to pause. We got to hit the pause button. Stop that crazy machine. That's George Jetson used to say that, right? When he's running on that machine, Jane, stop this crazy thing, and take a pause, because that's the only place you're going to find the present moment. That's the only place you're going to find the wise answers. That's where you're going to find your presence. That's when you're going to find your purpose. There's so much value in that pause. Yeah,
and you were talking about the resistance meeting resistance. Well, that's like the immutable force coming up with the infinite. I can't remember the metaphor, but you know what I'm talking about.
No, I know.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You do, because you're brilliant. The idea is when I meet resistance with resistance, then what happens is both of those start to increase in power. They start fighting each other and becoming stronger and stronger, and you can't defeat it that way. So what does Aikido teach us? Aikido, one of the most amazing martial arts around, is really all about taking the energy of another person and redirecting. So instead of resisting the resistance, you redirect it. And so if you notice a resistance coming up in you, you can use the technique of Aikido internally to redirect it. And the way to redirect it is to notice, first of all, that it's there. Once you notice it's there, you can say, where's this thing going and what's it trying to do? And you can listen to it and try to understand it, and then you can redirect it. You can take all that energy of resistance and turn it into something that's going to support you. That's the beauty of it. The problem is we don't understand that. And of course, the ego mind won't give us a moment to believe that it might even be true. So
talking about Aikido, one of the things I did in my life, which really helped transition me in a lot of ways, was I took Tai Chi lessons, same concept. And not only is Tai Chi extremely slow, have you ever seen anybody do it? So your ego mind is like, hurry up, do something, move. And the rest of you is like, no, chill. We're just doing this right now, nothing else. and there is a lot of redirecting energy in that whole movement too, right? You're not punching, you're not fighting, you're not resisting, you're not getting angry at the anger, you're not throwing blame at the fear. You're just letting it. You're listening to it, you're paying attention to it, very conscious, very present moment, and letting things go by. And using that energy to your advantage too, to grow and to learn. We'll learn about ourselves. It's, I'll say that self-study is the new cool, and it's all about learning about yourself. So as you do that, as you identify in that pause, you see what's bothering you, what's feeling uncomfortable, and you look at it, you have the wisdom, the wherewithal, and the strength and the courage to do that, do it. And that's another one gone. It's another one that you bypass. It's less stuff in here and in here to block you.
It's funny. I used to run a lot before my ankles and my knees decided that it wasn't working for me anymore. And I found that to be an extremely meditative process for me, as long as I wasn't competing with anybody. And even at that, a funny thing I noticed about myself when I was running, I love running in trails, going long distance trail running and stuff. And I'd get on a trail and I'd spot somebody up ahead. And I'd say, oh, gotta catch that person. I just noticed that that activity was going on in my mind. In other words, I had to run harder and faster in order to catch that person. So it was no longer meditation at that point. It became a competition, you see? And now that I've stopped running because of the injuries and I've started doing yoga, I have noticed a completely different thing. When I'm doing yoga, even in a class, there is no sense of competition at all. It's just about me feeling my body, stretching my muscles in a certain way, and just noticing how good it feels and being present to the whole process. And that is a completely meditative process for me now. So I do yoga a lot. But I also do meditation separately from that. And I found that I can do meditation pretty much anywhere. I was telling you this morning when I make my smoothie in the morning. That's a long process for me, but it's very meditative and I'm very present. So I can be present, anybody can be present with anything they're doing. Or you can sit down and be quiet and be present that way. It all works as long as you're here and now.
Absolutely true. Driving down the highway, you know, if you spend a lot of time on the road, focusing on being present in feeling your butt on the seat, your hand on the steering wheel, on really seeing what's going on around you. It's a beautiful present moment exercise, and you'll be the safest driver on the highway doing that because you're in the moment and you see things happening and coming and going, as opposed to getting all caught up in the brain about what's going to happen at work when I get there and that idiot just cut me off and now you're angry for 15 minutes hanging on to it. You feel this, right? This is what we do. This is what our ego mind does. This is what our human race mind does. And it's a big shift to being as present when we can, pay attention when we can. Meditating doesn't mean anymore that you've got to sit in lotus position and say Om and Om over again for an hour. It's not. There is a form of meditation that you can practice that may do wonders in that, but I've never done that kind of meditation. I do what you do. I go running, or I do yoga too. Yoga to me, when I look at me, I'm a physical being. We all are. We've got a physical body. We've got mentals. We got mental.
You're mental, dude.
We're physical, mental, emotional, spiritual beings, and we need to honor all four of those aspects of ourselves. And yoga is one of those things that brings all that together for me. So I get my biggest bang for the buck.
Yeah,
I guess I could say that I get all four of those aspects of myself fed through yoga.
I had a lot of resistance to yoga when I was younger, and it was because I'll tell you the truth.
Good insights?
No, it had nothing to do with that. It was because my mother was a yoga instructor.
Huh.
And I had some real challenges with my mother. But once I got past all that and I did my own personal inner work, I realized that that's what was happening. And then I was able to take a look at yoga from an objective, dispassionate perspective. And that's when I started doing it and I started seeing the benefits of it. It's an amazing practice. And there are so many different forms of it. They're all wonderful. And I highly recommend it. I mean, of course, if you want to be present, find your own way of doing it. Remember, life is a present. So be present in it. That just came to me.
Yeah, you just made that up.
I did.
Good job.
Well, I didn't make it up, but it just came to me, is what I'm saying.
So let's take that presence a little bit further, because I like to think about unwrapping presence. And we have this presence in us, right? The natural state of our mind is clarity. When you can meditate to that place and you get a little clarity in your mind, that's the natural state of our mind. Yeah. Everything else, all the noise, is artificially inseminated. It's artificially induced. It's domesticated into us by some terms. It's part of the human race. It's all this stuff. But our natural state is peace. Our natural state is presence. Our natural state is clarity. And that can be a pretty encouraging thing to understand, because it's not like I have to work real hard. Again, it's like the resistance thing. Like, I don't have to work real hard to get somewhere. You just have to do some work to clear away to find yourself inside.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. You know, there's another aspect of presence that I think is important. We haven't really talked about it too much, but it's that sense of flow. When I'm fully present and in the moment, life just seems to flow smoothly. There's no, I'm not saying it's going in a straight line. It might be moving through curves and stuff like that. I think of a river, and the not presence is like putting a dam across the river to me. It's stopping the flow in some way. It may not be a complete dam. There may be some flow that's happening, but the more I can clear out the dam and allow the flow to take place, and then just to be in that flow, the more alive I feel, the more aligned I feel with my purpose. And my life just feels wonderful in that case. And that's something that you can do. You can practice that yourself. You can find ways of just imagine what is that dam that you're putting up in your own life to stop you from feeling that flow. Just meditate on it. Just become aware of it. And don't beat yourself up for it. Don't make yourself wrong. Just notice and say, oh, look at that. There's a dam there. I bet if I did move that rock, that will start this dam flowing again. I don't know what that rock is. It's going to be some symbol in your life, some form of resistance. And then another one will show up. Just allow it to be present. Maybe a rock represents some traumatic experience that happened in your life when you were 5 years old. Like, I don't know, maybe there was some sexual abuse in your life that you haven't completely healed yet. And it's keeping you from being available for a full open relationship with somebody. I think it's time to find that rock, take it out, examine it, and figure out how to heal it. Once you do that work, whatever it is, it might be with Tommy, it might be with me, it might be with somebody else, it doesn't matter. Once you do that work, that dam will just start to open up for you. So it's all about the presence, I think, is about being aware, because awareness is like the best thing you can do for yourself. Being aware of what's going on, and then deciding what you want to do about it.
Yeah, being aware is like step one, but there obviously is the next step of doing something about it. So whether you're looking at it as a rock, and do you get mad at a rock? No, you just look at the rock, what it was blocking, and you look at it, observe it, and move it aside. Unwrap your presence. Unwrap your presence.
Oh, I like that. Unwrap your presence. Not present, but presence.
Unwrapping presence is how we.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, yeah. So that's your work for this week, is to unwrap your presence and find out what it is that's keeping you from your presence. And I think that all of us, that's something I'm going to be working on for sure. And as I said, when I started this, what you asked me about the affirmation, I am grateful that the perfect career, I can't remember, that I'm involved in the perfect career that is fully aligned with my purpose. Okay, maybe that's not completely true right this moment, but I know that it's true in the grand scheme of my life. And so, I'm going to see it manifesting over the next day, week, months, however long it's going to take. And that's the same for you. Your purpose is going to become more obvious the more time you spend staying present with who you really are. That's the key.
And if you're really on a search for your purpose, obviously the key to it is being more present, because then you'll be able to hear yourself, because your purpose is inside of you. Your presence is your true nature. That clarity is your true nature. And as you uncover that, your purpose is going to come forth. Another indicator of finding your purpose are things that make you happy, things that make you feel right, things that make you feel good. So purpose is not going to add stress to your life. It's not going to feel like a burden. It's not going to feel like, so just how to distinguish when your purpose starts to arise, what it feels like and what it doesn't feel like. Those are some things too to be aware of, is that it feels right. It feels good. When you're to think about it, inspires you, and if you accomplish something that's in alignment with your purpose, you're like, wow, that just felt cool. I'm glad I did that.
Yeah. And I want to tell you, we're in Tommy's house. He's got a lot of beautiful, Buddha statues and all kinds of beautiful artwork around here. And I was just looking over at one Buddha statue as he was talking, and I was thinking, one of the things that Buddha taught was, if you do the work that you love, you will never work another day in your life. And, that's such a powerful statement. What kind of work do you love? Well, the work that's aligned with your purpose. And that's really what we've been talking about here. So get on purpose, friends. Get on purpose. Find your purpose, because it's there. Get on purpose, and then you'll be doing the work you love, and life will just be amazing.
All right. So here we are.
Yeah. I was just going to say, next week, we're going to be doing, what's the subject? The calm after the storm. That's going to be our topic next week. And I'll be back up in Northern California, but this has been just awesome, Tommy. It's been fantastic being in your space. Thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming on, bro. All right, you guys, take care. Good luck to you, and have a great life.